What is going on, people? Joey Talks Boxing. I want to talk about Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, it's not going to be a video talking about his record or his personality or his opponents that he beat or anything like that. Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with the way he presents himself out of the ring. I'm going to talk about his journey and how he got to this point of being the highest grossing fighter in history. And how I look at him, and I look at him as the American story. He did it the American way. He's like the Warren Buffett of boxing. Here's a guy, Floyd Mayweather. His father was a boxer. His two uncles were boxers from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He had a lot of hype as a prospect. He goes to the Olympics. Finishes with the bronze medal. Gets a controversial decision against him. Doesn't win the gold medal. He then signs with Top Rank. He's fighting on undercards and stuff like that for Oscar De La Hoya and Pernell Whitaker. But he's not getting the attention that he feels he should be getting. He then eventually becomes a main event fighter. Still not getting the attention that he looks at and he should be getting. He then became the #1 fighter in the sport in around 2004 on the pound-for-pound list. And still, he wasn't on pay-per-view. And he's looking around. He sees guys like Oscar De La Hoya and Shane Mosley and Felix Trinidad all on pay-per-view, making more money than him, and he's rated higher than them. But he just keeps fighting, keeps doing his thing, keeps winning, keeps calling out the big names. He then gets to pay-per-view. He fights Arturo Gatti, who was a pretty popular fighter at the time, known for his fight series with Mickey Ward and his exciting fight style in AC in his first ever pay-per-view in 2005. May of 2005, I believe. And he dominates Arturo Gatti in that fight. Still not that big. He then moves up to 147. He fights against Zab Judah, pay-per-view fight. Still not that big. Carlos Baldomir, still not that big. And then he makes a career choice. He decides to buy his way out of the Top Rank contract. I'm not sure exactly how much that was. Let me check that out. But the point is that he had a long deal with, Top Rank boxing. And he said, I don't like the way I'm being marketed. And he's had that belief for a while before this. And he says, I want out. I want out of this. Controversial decision at the time. He pays for $750,000 to get himself out of the, Top Rank deal. And he took on a risk because had he lost, a fight or two after that, but let's say he lost a couple fights after that, a fight or two after that, he'd be giving up on the guarantee that he would have with Top Rank. So it was a risk at the time, but he did it. And he fought Oscar De La Hoya. And, the rest is history. De La Hoya gave him the opportunity. Big shout out to Oscar De La Hoya for doing that, because he really didn't have to do that. But he was taking a chance, I guess you could say. But it was kind of an obvious choice, looking back. But he gets into the De La Hoya fight, beats De La Hoya, and became the face of boxing from that point on, and just kept winning, kept dominating, and got himself to the point where he's made close to $1 billion in boxing, whatever it was, $800 million in boxing. And what's interesting about Floyd Mayweather, unlike most other boxers, is almost all of his big fights came towards the end of his career, from Oscar on. So then it was his biggest fights of his career, money-wise, are Pacquiao, McGregor, which was after his career ended, Canelo, De La Hoya, Cotto. Those have been the biggest fights of his career. But he kept winning. Kept winning these fights. Canelo was the big showdown. Then Pacquiao. Then even after his retirement, he gets lured in to do this fight with, You know, the fight 7 years ago with Conor McGregor, made like 200 million for that fight or whatever it was. Now he does the exhibitions. But the reason I look at him differently than other boxers is if you look at most of the big stars in boxing history, whether they were heavyweights or not, even though most of them were heavyweights, they all made big money really early in their career. Like right out the gate, they were the face of boxing. Sugar Ray Leonard, Oscar De La Hoya, even Canelo. It wasn't this deep into his career. I know he started at 15, Canelo, so you could say it was deeper into his career, but like he was, once he became like arguably the top in the world, he was the biggest money guy. Anthony Joshua, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, they didn't have to wait till the second part of their career, you know, really when they were like kind of towards the end of their career to make that big money. I can't think of another boxer who had that situation like Floyd Mayweather where it took so long. And that's why I compare him to Warren Buffett, because Warren Buffett, he became the richest man in the world, and he probably still would be the richest man in the world had he not given away so much of his money. But I believe I saw something once that 99% of Warren Buffett's wealth came after he turned the age of 65. And I look at Mayweather the same way. Most of his wealth in boxing came after the age of probably 35, because you had the Canelo fight, the Pacquiao fight, and the McGregor fight. So most of what Warren Buffett's, 99% of Warren Buffett's wealth came after the age of 65, and almost all of Mayweather's wealth, probably in life and in boxing, you know, in boxing and in life, came from 35, which is like 65 for boxing and on. So Floyd Mayweather did it the American way, he did it the hard way, and he's the Warren Buffett of boxing. Let me know what you guys think. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.